Just thanking God that this camera's working today, because just a minute ago it said something about insert a disc, but the disc is already in here. So I just want to bring another part to dating rich men versus dating normal men who are average as far as in wealth. And I wanted to tell you a few tips about what elites won't do and what a man who doesn't have a lot of wealth would do. Okay. Elite men are they always have to report to their masters. Okay, so whoever they marry, who they court, who they love, even if it's real love, because most of the time they only date women to gain fame, fortune, or some kind of access to whatever benefits that the elites require or need. So it's not as simple as you think. Let's just take for example Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, some of the top elite sports figures, right? Okay, so when they report to work and they sign all these contracts, in there somewhere where the public will never know is a little claim, a disclaimer, letting them, the handlers, the slave masters, the corporations, make the final decisions on love, courtship, marriage, who benefits, who gets access into their secret world, who they seek, who they hunt down, who's in, who's out, who's beneficial to bring sinners, non-believers to Satan. And believe me, those are usually the ones that they pick, are the males or females who are the best at recruiting for Satan, their father. Okay, so you're not going to see a sports figure hardly dating a woman who is a Christian, who's a well-known lady, who has class, who preaches the gospel, believes in Jesus, who supports him with her lifestyle, with her clothing, with the purchases that she makes. And that is something is going to be a rare find. When that happens, it's far and few between. Occasionally they allow some fake people in just to portray that. But it's not very common. Their main thing is to advertise open relationships, swinger clubs, threesomes. Just the other day on Love and Hip Hop, Mimi was dating someone. She was trying to get away from Stevie J, which is said that allegedly Mimi and Stevie J and I can't remember the girl that he's seeing, something, that one rapper or singer, Puerto Rican or whatever she is, girl that he's managing. Well, they supposedly had a threesome. Well, then she started dating another guy who is kind of like a little clone of Stevie J, and she finds out that he doesn't have a lot of respect for her, and he basically wants to have a threesome with her and another friend, and tries to hit on her at the club. So this is kind of the state of how men are. They date you to sex your friends. They date you out of thinking who you could threesome up with, and a lot of their intentions aren't ever marrying, loving you. There's not even real courtship. So anyways, I wanted to talk about that and like some of the things that elite men won't do. Elite men won't let their women become totally independent. Somehow or another, there's usually a link to them. Just like in that, I'm going to use Love and Hip Hop again, where there's a rapper woman on there who's pregnant. She's married to a man who's allegedly homosexual, and she's having a bad marriage. She's found out she's pregnant, and she's trying to go on with her career, and her husband is not in support of her. He's just kind of like a vulture, wanting to pick up the crumbs of whatever money she's making while he's out there styling in his Audi and living the life, coming home any time of the night, having her stressing so she could have a miscarriage. So usually that's what men, a lot of elite men do. They don't want their children. They don't, because they know they have to pay, and it's another expense, and they will terrorize their women to the point where the women have to almost keep them out of their lives in order for the baby to survive the pregnancy. And this is something that, is not reported a lot. Now, this book I got here was given to me by one of my mom's friends named Gaithel. And I wanted to kind of touch on this a little bit. I'm going to do a video coming up about love, courtships, and marriage. But first I wanted to kind of finish up about things about the elites' mornings. Like a guy who's not wealthy is going to want to welcome his child more. He is more in touch and close to God, so he knows the value of human life. He knows not to put money and other things above your marriage and your family and your child being born. They're going to have more time. They're going to have less wealth to go out from pillow to post. There's a song that was called Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. Well, they kind of turn into those kind of vagabond guys. They set up shop somewhere, a home station, and then they're pretty much just pillow to post wherever they end up. Whichever girl, calls and is offering the best meal of the night, or the clean clothes, or some gifts, whether it's clothes, money, and they just go around from woman to woman, and they fight with one woman, then they go to the next and sleep with her, and then they just kind of go around like every week. It's like 2, 3, 4 different women. Some of them even try to do several women in one night. There was this one guy who had 3 different women. One he would get his Gucci, his designer wear. The other one, he would get her debit card, free cash, and meals. And the third one, she paid his rent. And the ironic thing is he didn't even need his rent paid because his rent was all, his house was paid, his condo was paid off. And that his mom was wealthy, and he had a couple properties. He was getting basically trust fund money. And he did it as a hobby. And a lot of these guys, they're elites, and they just, they have money themselves, and they love to meet women with money, and they work them, they take their money, and it's a business. It's a hustle. And you won't find that, with a guy who's struggling a lot. He's going to more than likely want to put what he has with what you have and make it grow. He's not as threatened. He's not he's not accessible to a lot of women as much because he can't afford to pay for dates. He can't afford to court women and deceive them. He's not going to go out there and be able to travel and stay in hotels or go around a lot because he has limited gas. He has limited funds. He is going to think it's going to be more convenient for him to set up posts with one person and work with them, as opposed, he knows he's shrinking his budget, so he's going to try to maximize it, and have less women. And that's how, that kind of, you got to do the math. And I'm not saying that guys who are poor don't cheat, but I'm just saying the probability. There's even studies that men in the NBA and the professional sports have higher rates of divorce and adultery, and they don't value their marriages. A lot of them are just a cover, because a man knows if he is married, he's going to progress more in his career. His boss is going to give him more advantages, more opportunities. People see him as a better person, and they more trustworthy. So a lot of these men just have a cover, and they will take these women on, and they know they're very much homosexual, and they sign contracts. Like they said, for instance, John Legend. He's dating this model girl, and they've been, I guess, engaged for years, and he has been allegedly said to be homosexual. And so what they do is, like, his PR team will call up, like, another PR team and say, look, we got a situation, we got a lot of rumors around about this, one of our entertainers, and we need to hire one of your models to be seen with him as a trophy girl, to go to different PR events, and they will also throw in an engagement or a marriage. Some of them even have a kid, and just to make it look more convincing. And that they do is they sit down and then they decide, well, who's this person going to date, and what's going to bring more PR and money, more people wanting interviews. And so they set the two up, and there's a contract behind it. You don't even ever get to see the fans. And they, allegedly pretend to be together. They can't stand each other. Most of the time they don't even live in the same quarters, or, and they portray this lifestyle of them being married. And meanwhile, they're in a homosexual gay relationship. Like, for instance, they say this about Brad Pitt and George Clooney, and how they, pan over each other, and have said in interviews that they will get married if gay marriages are approved and all this stuff. And they've done a lot of gay things on camera. And so they go out, they get these women who are known gay women who are bisexual swingers, like Angelina Jolie. We know she's kind of been out there and had sex with a lot of people and had an open kind of thing, which was really sick. She was wearing blood around her neck. She was just a freak, and so he gets her because, of course, she's gonna accept any type of sexual man relationships. A lot of these women like to watch it. It turns them on to watch men having gay sex, and they participate in it. And so that way, he can be with her. He can be with George, and George can have his little side chicks. And they all, they're bisexual. They like both ways. And they go and they jump from the woman to the man, and they do their orgies and their secret sex clubs, and they work out all their marriages, and so that it works with their lifestyle. And there's not a lot of commitment there. It's just passing around, like, just here, throwing it back and forth. And people, if you get caught up in that, it's very serious, and it can cause AIDS, STDs. It causes you to go to hell, because, for these men, these women turn into worshiping them. And in the Bible it says that these women sometimes, I gotta cut this short, I got 14 minutes here, but these women basically put the men, their husbands, over God. And they spend their time just trying to please him in the world more than they do God. And so you got to watch out for these false type of marriages. A lot of them, I would say, aren't even real love marriages. So this is, elites versus poor, and another segment.